Welcome to this video where I'm going to introduce you to the SARM BO JIN. SARM BO JIN means the second stage, first form. And it's one of the 5 different forms that we have in the Chou Gар framework system that stimulates the gain power. The gain is like if someone touches you with a hot spoon, you suddenly move. This is what the Mantis system developed, this kind of intrinsic power through the vast range of training exercises that we have in this style. The gain power is very important because it's useful in self-defense. Because it develops that kind of reflex power, that's the type of energy and strength you need in a real street self-defense encounter. Secondly, the development of the gain power enables you to strike the dim mark points or the dim view points more effectively with more better aim and more power. I'm going to demonstrate this form, SARM BO JIN, break that form down, and then show you the application of the techniques using the dim mark points. But most significantly is to develop the gain power, or some people call it Fa Jin. Fa Jin and gain are a similar sort of power. Gain power is especially noted for the training, developed through the training exercises, as well as the forms like SARM BO JIN, the first form, and this form, SARM BO JIN. So I'm going to demonstrate that form for you in this video.
Now let's see the second stage first form, which is called SARM BO JIN. Now let's see this form, SARM BO JIN, this time from the side.
If you haven't seen the first form, called SARM BO JIN, it's best if you do, because that will give you the correct footwork, which is very similar to the Yi-Cup SARM BO JIN. The difference between Yi-Cup and the basic SARM BO JIN is the Yi-Cup develops more Ging. I'm going to demonstrate now from this level. Okay, the beginning part.
Now let's take a look at the Yi-Cup SARM BO JIN. Pay attention to the final details and the fine movements of Ging power that's pushed down to the arms and into the ribs. The saying is Ging Tan Ging, Dip Quad Gong, Ging Tan Ging. Meaning with the ribs there is Ging or shock power.
I'll do that again.
Following closely, first place your hands on your chest, come out, 2 circular motions, bring your hands in towards your chest, going down, 3 sharp movements down. Bring your energy up, 1, 2 movements, push out your elbows, come round using the dip quad gong, and then go down again, 3 movements, coming up, this time using the punch, 4 seibanging movements, claw with the little finger first and come down. From the side we can see how the hands make 2 circular motions using the Ging power, bringing in, pushing down your arms 3 times, coming up, 1, 2, bring elbows forward then back using dip quad gong to Ging Tan Ging, shock power, 3 thrusts downwards, bring up, change into the Phoenix Eye fist position, punch, seibanging movements, the 4 directional fist, claw in, using the little finger first. Once more you can see from the side. Pay attention to the finer details of sharp sudden movements, which is the essence of the southern mantis system. Now let's go into the screen and follow carefully.
Place your hands on your chest. Take both hands outwards. Then both hands simultaneously come into the chest. Take both hands downwards. From here, 3 times. 1, 2, 3. From there you bring your energy up. At this point, 1, 2. From here, 3 comes out with the elbows. Push forward, opening up. Draw back, then come round, open up your chest and ribs, closing chest and ribs. Tongue, this is known as tongue hold. Come down. 1, 2, 3. Breathing in, coming up. 1, 2. From there, change to the Phoenix fist. 1, 2, 3. From there, views up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Starting with the little finger, then the second, and again. Again, come out. Bring in. From the side, bring into your chest. 1, 2, 3. Closing your ribs. From here, coming up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. From down, 1, 2, 3. Bring up. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Okay, pay attention to the particular movements. First we step forward using the SARM BO JIN step. Push out your elbows, bring your elbows in towards you, punch, and then do 4 seibanggen movements to the side and then bring in with the little finger starting first, whereas the first form itself starts with the index finger. Repeat this again. You do this 3 times. Try to understand that the power doesn't just necessarily come from the arm, it also comes from the ribs, namely the dipguagong, the closing of the ribs produces the power. And bring in. Now let's take a look, this time from the side. Step forward. Notice how the arms and hands coordinate together and bring down to the Dalkyo position. Using the Phoenix fist on 3 occasions, then start to bring the palms up, down, left and right, palm forward. Again, this is done 3 times. Pay attention to all the movements. Now let's do the form again, this time from the front view. The hands are placed on the chest, approximately where the solar plexus is. Bring both hands upwards as you come out. Breathe inwards to the zhong dantian, the middle dantian, which is the solar plexus. Bring both hands in and press the air down into the lower dantian point as you breathe out. Bring both hands downwards, push out 3 times. Bring up 1, 2, push out elbows, forward with the fingers, draw back, bring the elbows over and round, and then push your fingers and palms downwards again, 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Again, bring both palms up, 1, 2, change into the Phoenix Eye fist, push outwards, bring in, push forward. Thrusting fingers, BUG, push out, in, up, and palm strike, and clawing with the last finger first. And then claw down and push down, squeeze ribs. Move forward, repeat this action 3 times. Notice the power onto the ribs and forearms. Using your palms, claw in with the last finger first. At this point, close your ribs using dipguagong power. 2, 3, biuzao, biuji, palms in, up, palm strike forward, claw with the last finger, and claw down. And the 3rd time, thrust your fingers up, palm, and claw with the last finger first. Now let's see the form this time from the side. The same procedure starts with the hands on the chest. Bring both hands outwards for approximately shoulder width. Bring in both hands just like you're catching something. Push both forearms and fingers and palms downwards. 1, 2, 3. Draw up. 1, 2. Push the forearms out, forward and round. and then go down again, bring up, use a phoenix eye fist, out, in and push forward. And palm strike, and clawing with the last finger first. Step forward and repeat this 3 times. The Ging power is only done from extreme relaxing to extreme firmness. So this kind of elasticated power is useful for reflex action, which is useful in self-defense. It is based on reaction speed and not performance speed. And again, the third example, using the little finger first to pull in.
So we come from coming out, coming down 3 times, twice up, elbows out, push forward, draw back, come over, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Start off with the little finger, bring it in, press down. Step forward 3 times doing this. The point I want to mention in this particular instance is as you step forward, you push out the forearms like this. You concentrate your power at this particular point here, on the wrist and forearms here. The next technique, when you bring in, you concentrate your power on the inside of your forearms, drawing in like this. And then from there, push into your phoenix fist, then builds up your fingers. So first 1, then comes in 2, then from there 3. From there, builds up. Now every time I do this, 1, 2, you will find that the ribs must close. So 1, 2, 3. So they're always doing this kind of action to get the maximum gain or fighting power that you need. 1, 2, 3, builds up. Now when you do the next part, which is called Seibang Gen, 1, you concentrate the power on the outside here of the wrist, on the older side of the wrist here. Then you bring in the power this way, concentrating here with the mutsab. So 1, 2. So 1, 2. Then you concentrate the power on top of the wrist, coming up. From there, you bring in the elbow and you push forward like this, closing your ribs simultaneously. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then from there you go to the clawing action, the G-leg, starting off with the little finger, and repeat this 3 times. So emphasizing on your power on the wrist and the forearm when doing this kind of action in the SARM BO JIN. When you punch forward, you exhale your breath. So concentrate on the wrist, especially on the Seibang Gen. This is 1, 2, 3, and then finally the 4, the palm strike. And as you do, you relax your body and then send out the power like this. There's relaxation from 1, 2, 3, relax, and then palm, then bring in the G-leg, which is with the little finger.
Now let's see the next part of the SARM BO JIN. Pay attention to the wrist. First, turn your body. Wrists come out, downwards, seize in front, called Kumla. Knee raise with the left leg, and then kick out. Knee raise, then kick out with the right leg. Once more. Turn your body. Wrist comes out, down, Kumla. Kick out, and then kick out with the right. On the side, pay attention to the wrist movement. Down, seize in front, seizing skills. Kick out with the left leg, then the right leg. Once more. Kick out. Move forward, kick with the right leg. From here, drag both hands down, up, and then pull in. Half step, left leg forward, no different from the first form. The punches, out, in and up. And claw with both hands, left hand high. Here we can see again, from the side, from the right side, kick with the left, kick with the right, draw down, up, pull in. Step forward, half step, punch, 1, 2, 3, open up. The whole sequence again from the last position. Kick 1, kick 2, draw down, up, in, step up and punch. Pay attention to the footwork. Open up. And then you turn round, pay attention to the form, footwork, and repeat the whole movement again from the last position. And this is done 3 times. Moving forward, punching out using the Sei Bang Ging, 4 direction palms, claw in and downwards. So this is the Yikap SARM BO JIN form, known as the second stage first form. Usually there are 3 developments of power, namely Chou Ging, when your power is rough. Then there is Nam Ging, when your power becomes hidden. And then there is Geng Ging, or Geng Tang Ging. And these techniques will be shown, or the power will emanate through the techniques shown. And this is the completion of the Yikap SARM BO JIN form. Before we go further, let's just have a look at the turning around again and the last techniques, last punches. Notice the hands going, elbows in, out and forward. This is the end of the Yikap SARM BO JIN form. Then finish, Ging Lai salute.
So this is a form called Yikap SARM BO JIN. I just want to go over a few things with you. Start your hands here, coming out. Now, the hardest part about this form is to think where the powers are in regards of the technique. So here, you concentrate this technique here, coming out like this. You concentrate your energy here, or power. So you're twisting like this. See, you're coming out. Now, as you do this, you're breathing into the Dan Ting. Imagine like a tube coming down your arm, and you're breathing in, rooting yourself to the ground. So you're coming out like this, breathing in. Now, as you exhale, you do the next technique, like this, and think your power is on the edge of the palm, like this, and draw into your chest. So we go 1 here first, 2, and from there you come down. Power comes up to this point here, to here, and 1, 2, 3. Then the next point is on the outside, the inside of the wrist here, 1, 2. Sinking your breath down to the Dan Ting. From here, 1, power here. This will be explained in the application. From here, you think your power is on the inside of your forearm and this part of the body here. So as you do it, you do this. So all this, and this, one action is like this. So you've got this action like this, then you think the power on the outside of the wrist to draw back. So it comes here, closing, open slightly, open the front, draw back. Then the power comes here, as you breathe up, breathe in, then you bring your power, this kind of, this action. Instead of an elbow, it's like this, drawing in the power into your body. From there, it's again back to the same one we've done earlier, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Again, I explained the powers on this particular point. 1, 2, and as you do the feel cell, everything roots into the ground. Like sort of become very solid. 1, 2, 3, and then palm, and then do the jilid, starting off with the little finger. 3 times do this. When you come to this point here, you then use the power from your waist. This is not done like this. You don't make a mistake by going like that. This is done with the waist. In actual fact, I'm not using my arms here. Only the waist is moving like this. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So 1, use the wrist power here. 2, wrist, relax your power here, and then come up in seizing. So waist, wrist, relax energy here, and then seizing. From there you use your kicks. At this point, you use the hands, seizing your hands. 1, using the waist. It's not done like this. Use the waist, come up, then drawing, pulling in straight into your stomach. Half step, left leg forward, punch. And as you do this technique here, you sink your power down like this. You breathe out and everything becomes rooted into the ground. There's a point here and a point here at the sole of the foot called Yong-Chin point, and you root yourself down with this technique. So just once more. 1, 2, 3. Half step left leg forward. 1. Fix where your power is. 2, 3. And then root yourself down so you're very solid and bring in your chest like this. Don't stick your chest out. So some final things that you ought to know is that when you're doing the Yi-Cup SARM BO JIN or any of the forms in the madness system that you've gone through the videos or through the training at the academy, then you must do the tongue form. Closing your chest, opening the ribs, closing the ribs, maybe on one side, maybe on the other side, maybe both together. And this teaches you that when you're reacting, you have all the shocks that you need for developing your self-defense abilities, especially in reflex action techniques. So reflex action does this kind of movement. So when you're moving, you've got this type of power that you can suddenly use and release in a real self-defense situation. So reflex action is the name of the game, and this is what we're doing here. But we're actually also concentrating on certain areas, like doing this, and then cutting in, and all this concentration of energy here, stemming from the waist, the dancing point, is this dancing gong. Dancing gong is very essential because from there it stems out and you get maximum power. So when you hit the striker points, you have maximum effect on your opponent in a self-defense situation. So here, concentrating on the certain parts of the wrist, namely especially the forearms and the wrist themselves. But don't forget the ribs and the areas here where you're pulling up like this, and the backside, all these special powers that you need in this form. That's why it's not just a form, it's the whole method of gripping, clawing, bringing your chest in, closing your ribs, using your forearms for developing maximum power through this form, which is called Yi-Cup, means second stage. Yi-Cup SARM BO JIN, which means first 3-step arrow punch.
Now let's take a look at the SUP 1 SAO advanced form. These group of 10 techniques are to develop the Geng power associated with the Chou Gar pre-madness system. Now we'll see a close-up of the SUP 1 SAO forms from half position. Now let's take a look at the sub 1 cell forms. First, place your hands in your chest, step forward, punch. Using short range power, lift up both hands, pushing the wrist up. Step back, at the same time bring your hands back to chum jang. Move forward to bao zhong, covering hand. Step back, snatch in hands, lap sao or sok sao. From there, thrusting fingers with the right and then the left hand. Step back, push out your power to the forearms and fingers. Thrust downwards, step back, use the heavy bow hand, thrust down and finish. And three together. Once more we can see the technique again. Push up with the wrist, draw back, move forward, step back with sok sao, move forward with yao chap, then jaw chap, step back, push the power to the fingers, thrust downwards, use the heavy bow hand with the back hand going downwards, thrust, and ginglai salute. From the side, move forward and punch. All these movements are just short range movements. You must try to emanate the power from a short distance, which can only be achieved through doing your gong lick training or your training to do with your grinding arm and your jongs and all your practice, which emanates from your basic training. Thrust down, step back using the heavy bow hand, thrust downwards. This is done. Now let's have a look at single and then just breaking up those movements and how we can practice using the ging power. It's vitally important we break up some of the movements and practice them like in the picture. This is the heavy bow hand, which is vitally important for dim mak striking. You must develop the heaviness into your arms. Next movement, this is to use the ging or shock power of the mantis system, which is trained through your gong lick training. Now let's take a look at the next sub 1 cell forms, found in a few forms including Bo Jin cell and the 9 bridge hands of the sub mantis system. Now let's do that very slowly. First, bring both hands across and palm strike. Palm strike downwards, claw, mantis catching the fly, palm strike. Mantis washing its wings, its arms. Woodip jern, butterfly palm. Circle using sao, and again the opposite direction. To change, bring your hands forward, palm strike down, palm strike forward, down, claw, palm strike back. Mantis washing its wings technique. Palm strikes, woodip jern, sao, in the opposite direction, sao again. Bring up, three together, palm strike down, palm strike in and downwards again, claw, catching the fly. Mantis washing its arms, palm strike left and right, woodip jern, butterfly palm, sao. Move forward again. Now let's see that same group of techniques again. First, palms across, palm down, claw up, palm. Double palm, sao, again. Move forward, pay attention to the way the palm strikes are done, claw, palm strike. Woodip jern, double palm, sao, double palm, sao. Again, we can see the actions of the movements. Move forward, palm, claw, sao, and then sao again. Now let's see slowly. Claw, palm back. Mantis washing its arms, which is an advanced Denmark strike. Circle, sao to the left. Then circling again. Move forward, palm. Palm strike to the ribs and neck. Claw, palm strike back. Pushing your fingers forward, circling and sok, using the geng power. Claw, push back, fingers going forward, palm strike 1, palm strike 2, sao, and sao again. Here we can see a close-up. Claw, push back. Fingers going forward. Woodip jern, double palm. Sao. Bring up, move forward, and palm. Bring across, palm strike. Underneath, strike low, claw, palm strike back, palm, fingers going forward, double palm, woodip jern, Make a circle with your hands and then a soxo, opposite way circle, soxo again. Bring both hands up to the left, then to the right, and palm strikes. These are all palm strikes except for a few finger strikes as well, which will be shown in the application of the techniques using the Warte dem Mach. Claw, push back. Fingers, palm strike, left and right, circle, socks out, circle, socks out. And once more move forward and palm. Claw, using the sudden burst of energy in the form. It's also vital that you break up the techniques and practice them like as in the picture. Make sure your movements are sharp, trying to retain the relaxation and the gang power at the same time. This technique is known as mantis catching. This technique is known as the washing of the arms. This technique is known as uдар, or butterfly palm. This technique is known as soxal, circling motion and then sudden fast power energy. Now let's take a look at the dem Mach application. From the second sub 1 cell form, strike the neck points, dragging back the energy on the arm, moving forward, strike stomach 9 and liver 14. Close up, it's very important that the way the strikes are done is what makes it advance, and secondly the energy behind the technique, dragging back on the energy, bringing it down the arm, taking it away from the body, moving with liver 14 and stomach 9 strike. Now let's take a look on the opposite side. If a person does punch, you don't just strike, just you block the arm. There's no blocking in the manner system. Hit the points on the neck, dragging back the energy on the arm, move forward, liver 14 and stomach 9. Here we can see again, striking, dragging back on the arm. When you're actually striking liver 14, you're also striking liver 13 simultaneously. Again, dragging back, moving forward, palm. The next technique, if we can see, striking heart 3 and again liver 14. Notice how the wrist literally curls round, spinning open the heart 3 point, which is at the side of the elbow, striking the liver 14 point and heart 3. Here we can see the action of those two techniques. Why such an advanced movement? It's because of the energy behind it, not just striking the points, but the direction and the angle in which to strike them. Now let's take a look at those two techniques in the form. Here we can see them being performed. Now let's take a look slowly. We can see that the techniques and the concentration of the palms are made. Step forward or move forward, one using knife edge. In this case we're actually striking the points on the side of the neck and on the inside of the arm, actually dragging back even to strike his chest points. But we're mainly concentrating on several points here, mainly stomach 9 and 14 are the key principal points here. Now let's look at mantis catching. Now let's take a look at, as someone does strike, seize the pericardium points, strike heart points and palm back. This is very advanced striking in dim muck. Here we can see on the opposite side. Pulling, grabbing, seizing, palming back. Now let's take a look at this movement, mantis washing its arms. This technique is to strike heart 1 right under the armpit, dragging back on the energy on the opposite side of the arm and literally go under, turning the arm over. Either that, it can cause an arm break. The same technique again, and double palm, wool dip jerk. From that last position we strike the spleen and lung and heart and liver. The heart, liver and kidneys, as well as the spleen and lungs, have internal energy sources which is struck in a special way causes that internal energy to weaken, and namely the wool dip jerk is a special strike to strike those and weaken that energy. Here we can see, and very fast, that same technique. This technique is to develop the geng or shock power, also known as fa jing. Relax the arms and suddenly jerk very fast using the waist and the arms together. Take a look at the application of the movement. When someone does punch, you can grab his arms at the wrist points and the points of the elbow and use the wrist to strike the heart point. This same technique, as you grab, you can literally bring them in and then push them away. If we see from the other side, use your sock sole, seize both wrist and elbow points and literally push away. Now let's take a look at the beginning of the sub 1 cell form.
Okay. Okay.
Application of this: first, strike the heart points on the wrist, move forward again. If someone does attack, strike opposite side, move in and strike the important stomach point for the intestines. Again, we can see from another angle, strike wrist points, and move forward and strike the intestine point. Now let's have a look at techniques from the form. First, striking the jaw, coming back on itself. This is the idea of the beginning technique from the SARM BO JIN. Strike the point where just below the ear. Application of these techniques, block and strike again. If we take a look again, hit the gukji point and then hit the intestine point.
Okay.
Let's see the application of these techniques. Firstly, strike heart free and then the throat well. Or this same technique can be used against heart free and in heart 1, directly under the armpit. Or once again, it can be used to slide in and strike the throat well, like as in the picture. The application of these techniques, use the heavy bow hand, strike down and hit the gukji pressure point, large intestine 10 and 11. Let's see it this time from a wrist grab. Once again on a double application, use the heavy bow hand, slide down the energy into this wrist and then strike the gukji point, large intestine 10 or 11. Let's take a look at the other techniques following on from the last. Using the sudden gang power to block and push in your punch. These are mantis inch force deflection techniques following on from the SARM gang. Using the SARM gang movements, striking throat, chest points, namely the stomach 16. Here we can see from another angle, finger thrust beauty. Practicing the SARM gang by itself, the 4 directions, in, out, up and down and forward. Using short-range power, we can strike points on the wrist using the Seiban Ging technique. From a close-up, we can easily see striking the pericardium points or lung points. This technique can be applied to all the points on the arm. At the same time, the side of the neck, using again the wrist power to strike, especially stomach 9 coming in from the side. The same using Mukyo, we can strike the Gukki pressure points or slide back using this particular technique to land a blow of your own. From a close-up, we can easily see the action made. And likewise on the side of the neck. Lifting up the wrist to strike the pericardium and move forward to strike the heartful Tao Sum, tiger steals the heart, or sucks the heart. This is where the Pok Jeong power comes in from the Mandarin system. A close-up, we can see this technique done on the left side. Practicing what is known as jilik or finger power. Here in this second stage first form, practice with the little finger starting first, then bring in and squeeze down with the wrist. There's a lot of wrist and finger power associated with this form. Once more we can see clearly bringing in and squeezing downwards. It's very important you know how to squeeze wrist points, and this teaches you. Watch the application closely. Grab the wrist points, heart and lungs, squeeze, pushing forward and then drag downwards. Taking the pressure points one way, then taking them the other way is a good way of opening them up at certain points. Likewise, it can be done on the inside of the arm, grabbing heart points as well as large intestine points on both sides of the arm. Look how the person is literally controlled by seizing certain pressure points, namely on the wrist, elbow and shoulder. This technique can be done on the chest muscles and grabbing pressure points, at the same time the side of the face, using the thumb to penetrate the eye and literally bring downwards. Can't show, but it works on all directions on the body, on certain areas. Closely, we can easily see seizing the wrist points and then dragging them down, going at the elbow, heart points and large intestine points, and also namely the throat can be grabbed and dragged down, using the wrist to strike further points when this technique is done properly. It's not only to seize one or 2 points, but the wrist actually strikes other points when you seize the other points with the fingers at the same time. Let's carry on further from the form. break his grip by bringing across, strike the pericardium points on the, and then the heart points in the elbow, and then seize the chest points using the heart full tail SARM or Kamla techniques. Let's take a look at the application of this. Firstly, you strike wrist points and chest points, seize the collarbone, literally bringing him, and then use your head to headbutt him. Moving on. This technique found in the form at the end and turning round is to seize the wrist points, namely heart and lung, the heart one point on the opposite side. This literally causes the person to rise up. Here you can see the actual mental seizing skills coming into action. At the same time, this can be applied exactly as it is to the eye or the side of the jaw. Let's take a look at the kicking application. We are striking a very important point, namely spleen 11, which is known as the white C point. Very important for stopping the energy and causing fatigue. Notice how the kick is angled, and it's done on both sides. Now let's move on to the SUP 1 Sal form's first level. This technique first strikes heart points, then strikes kidney and stomach points on the side of the chest, causing the person to pass out, if done properly obviously. Now, as you notice that the technique comes across and downwards, so it cuts across 3 major points on the chest. Once more, drawing back, Bao Zhong. Here we can see that technique in action, dragging back on kidney points or on the inside of the arm. If you're not able to seize them, move forward with a palm strike to the heart. Moving on from Bao Zhong to Chap Sao and Lap Sao. Now let's take a look at the application slowly. First, hit the wrist and elbow points with Lap Sao technique, pulling back his energy, moving forward, and literally strike the fingers into certain points, namely liver 14 and 13. This technique is to strike the heart points using the power into the fingers, then Chap Sao into 2 major points where the top of the leg is, where there's a major vein. Striking heart points and strike downwards. This technique also can be applied to cross grab. Someone grabs both your hands, see how it works, and then move in to thrust your fingers into those points. Once more, here we can see how it works, and then literally thrust in with Chap Sao. From a single point of view, we can see how the wrist literally strikes the heart 3 point. Take a close look of how it's working, and then literally using to thrust downwards with the fingers, or it could be a punch. This is known as the heavy bow hand technique. Literally drag down the energy and then strike into points on the lower half. The heavy bow hand must develop through the gong leg training before able to make this technique work. Drag back the energy and strike down. Practicing this skill should be done like this from a day-to-day basis. Try to relax your arms using relaxation and in sudden barging power or ging power, shock power.
Okay, so we've got the next group of techniques from the sub 1 self forms. Here, this technique here going 1, 2 and then 3. The first technique is to strike the wrist points here and the heart points under the hand, under the arm. 1, we move forward here and maybe strike this point, bringing your feet together, striking this one simultaneously or dragging back here. So once more, 1 and 2, or it can be 1 and 2. You throw 2 punches. 1, 2, and again, or 1 and 2, striking the side of the jaw here, this point here. And then finally we're going to strike these 2 points coming down to this technique here into the stomach pit here. Still talking on these points. So the first group of techniques go 1, 2 and 3. The next one after this is this one. This technique strikes, drags back on these points here and the side of the neck points here, namely the large intestine and the small intestine points, striking here, dragging back here, and then coming back onto the point 2 inches below the nipple and striking the side of the neck. Throw a punch, 1, and then 2 here. Or you can use this same technique to drag back the energy on this side and move forward and strike. This technique here is to twist. Pay attention to the wrist, because the wrist twists like this, catching this point on the side of the elbow, which can be termed as heart 3, the major vein here. Again, dragging back, and as you do, you strike downwards. So 2 points together, 1 and 2 twisting. So you've got 1, 2, 3, you've got 4 and 5, 6 and 7. The next one is to grab the arm, seize the major points on the inside of your hand and the one on the bicep, which is here. Now as you do this and you pull in, then you use this to palm back, the fingers penetrating the heart point, at the same time penetrating this point here and this heart point. So from here it's going 1 and then 2. Or you can use this same technique to grab the throat and then palm straight back. So this is the next movement from that particular form. After this movement, then you have this technique here. 1, 2, 3. This is to brush back along this point here and strike under the armpit like this. Or as a basic technique, you can use it to break the hand like this. So you drag back this side, push that side up. But the most important thing is, as you do this, you literally go straight under the armpit like this. Done either on both sides, it doesn't really matter. But you drag back this side and strike under the armpit. The next technique is Wu Dip Jung, double palm. And here we're striking the heart, liver or spleen on the opposite side, or the lung. So 1 and 2. Wu Dip Jung is the famous technique, and you're using the ging power to palm. So 1 or 2, like this. So these 2 point strikes here. You can also do them up here, but this is more effective, mapping out the 2 sides of the body, namely the chest and liver, or the chest on the left side, and the spleen, or gallbladder. attacking liver 14 and the stomach points here. So this is Wu Dip Jung, butterfly palm. After butterfly palm, you have this technique here, and then you shock. The main purpose of this is to get your geng, and then use the sudden shock power to pull it in and maybe strike back, using the wrist to strike here. There's a spleen point here, so as you pull it, you do this. So 1 and 2. So just recap again. 1, striking the heart point, but most of all dragging back the energy on this side, and lift up this hand, and doing the opposite side, or moving forward. And as you do this, I bring my feet together to close up the groin so it doesn't kick, and then you push in. This foot here will push in like this, and in your palm. Again, just do one punch. 1, 2, he's already making his way back, and then you strike the points in the stomach. So 1 and 2 points here, striking the heart and dragging back in the inside of the arm. That's that technique. Again here, striking underneath, twisting and palming. This technique here to snatch and send back, or grabbing this side and send back under the armpit, which is this technique, double palm, Wu Dip Jung, and using the sock. So as you do this, sudden sock, and as you do, you strike back. So here's the order of those particular texts from the techniques from the Sup oneself. Alright, the next Sup 1 techniques is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then 11. So the first technique is a punch here. This technique is to use the geng power to send away. The next technique from here is to come down like this, using the wrist power and slightly turning your body. The idea of this technique is to strike the 2 points on the chest, 1 inch above the nipple, in a downward strike, giving a twist towards like 2 half-moon circles, like this. Or you can strike this movement on the arms, on the inside of the hands here, so here, or like this. The next technique is Bao Zhong. Cut back on this technique and sending the palm straight to the center of the chest. This tallies up with this movement, finally following with the Pok Zhong or Bao Zhong technique to the solar plexus. So coming back here, dragging back, and then palming. So 1, 2, 3, 4. The next technique is Lap Sao. Lap Sao is to snatch here and drag back here like this, or drag back on the arm, maybe this point. So from here you just literally drag back. From there is Tap Sao to send in. You've got to have powerful fingers to strike the rib cage. In this case, if you haven't got, you can use the fist, phoenix eye fist, straight into the ribs, either side. So from there, 1, 2, and then 3. This technique will block this hand and push to the side. After this is this movement. From here is this. This is an energy technique, and the reason why it's an energy technique to hit this here, to strike this way, like this, in a circular motion. Or you can, if you grab me, or you can use this technique to twist and use this kind of movement. Or, and again, you can cross hands movement and using this particular movement in this particular way. But the advanced method is to use the wrists to strike here on the inside of the arms, so using this to open him up. And then the Chab Sao is to strike the 2 points just above here where there's a major vein. So going straight down. Okay, just from there. 1, 2. The next technique is an energy technique again, backhand technique, using the heavy arm power known as bow hand to strike, to slap, literally slap down and drag. That's why you come backwards. Done both sides like this, but can be done on opposite side or opposite side. It's just to give the indication of this technique is to actually slap down and drag back. Or it can be used across the body, either side, or even the head, or the arm, or even the leg. coming down. The idea is to hit hard, drag back, especially on this vein here, which is a major dim mark point, coming backwards. And then finally, into the stomach, you go with the fingers again. So the most important thing is these energy techniques to send like this and to drag back. So 1 and 2 are very important techniques in the particular sub-1 cell forms of these first 10 movements. So we have the first form, and we have SARM BO JIN, which is second stage, first form. Just to recap on some of the ideas behind the form. When you start the form, you come out like this, and you use the wrist and the gain power to bring this technique in. And then you finally go down, 1, 2, 3. You come up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Come down again, 1, 2, 3. Come up, 1, 2, and then use the Phoenix fist, 1, 2, 3. Biu Sao, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then use the technique starting with the little finger first, coming in and pushing down. Breathe in, then as you breathe out, you push the air, you'll send the energy down to the dantian. So from here, breathe in, and then as you grip your stomach, backside legs, as you breathe out, but you send the energy down just past the dantian area. So this is very important when you're doing the form, is to pay attention to these little fine movements that are very important for developing the strong and firm body. But just to recap on some of the things, such as the techniques of using the wrist power. There's several techniques in the form that use this kind of movement. And just pay attention to the application of those movements. This here is the point on the wrist. One of the major points. There's a lung energy point here. We don't have to be deadly accurate, but this technique is to cut back like this. So this movement here means to cut back like that. This is a basic way, 1, of using it on the arm. 1, 2, and we can use here, 3, at the side of the jaw, which is here, this point. So when you're cutting back, you're going to strike the hand. You don't just block it, you actually hit it. So it numbs that hand, or coming close to strike the side of the jaw, using the twist of the wrist to strike like this. So this is 1, 2, and 3, how we can use that particular movement. So just this movement alone, if you punch, you can strike like this, punch again, maybe on the back here, the same thing, or at the back of this, or the side of the jaw. It's much more easy to go from the inside this way than it is from the outside, because the arm is protecting this particular movement. So if this is the case, then you strike this point here. So you're dragging back really, and dragging back. If your elbow is in the inside of his area, this space here, then you strike at the side of the jaw, or maybe the heart point, which numbs the arm, and this point tallies up with that particular point here. So this first one. Don't forget, the gain power is very important for self-defense. You need that kind of energy for protecting yourself. We're just going to jump a few paces up. This movement here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Called Seiban Gen. Seiban Gen means the 4 directions of power. So you strike in here, inside the heel, the arm. This movement, Mutsao, can strike inside the neck, here on the side of the neck. So 1 and 2. 3 and in 4 is the palm here, and then finally palm into the chest. This technique can be termed as heart fu tao sam, tiger sucking the heart, or stealing the heart. So from here, it's coming up and then palming. Again, using the gain power of the wrist, and obviously the whole body plays an important part, not just the wrist, but the power comes out from the wrist and then you palm. Also, when you're punching, you can grip the little finger first. This will change into the Phoenix eye fist and then punch. And you're able to grab here in the inside to turn like this. Or maybe grab the throat. Even if you're in this direction, you literally turn. So this movement here is to seize, turn, or this way and grab, or back on itself like this. So coming up with the wrist with the fingers and the wrist turning, and then finally punch, and then biusao. Again, we reach this certain movement here, and this again is to release your power. And when we say release the power, that literally means on the person you hit and send the power into his arm, especially on one of the major points. So this is the Yikap SARM BO JIN, to develop the Fa Jing power or the Geng power. I hope you've enjoyed this video.